So we've done the inspection already. Nate and Willie, our very willing farmer, have gone through the field, they've gone through their storage, and they've gone through the locations around the farm. Now we go to the audit, which is the second part of the annual inspection. And that part has two different parts. The first is the traceback, and the second is the mass balance. So the traceback is making sure that you have all records and documentation needed from seed and input purchase all the way through to grain sale. And then the mass balance is making sure that the amounts of things that have been purchased, seed for instance, is then logically tied to the amount of grain that was sold in the end. And we do this to make sure that there isn't any fraud and that there isn't any funny business happening on the farm. So those are the two elements. And without further ado, Nate and Willie, once again, are going to spend some time in a machine shed going through the audit.
All right, so the funnest part, paperwork. If we could possibly look at, I saw some organic wheat in the bin. So have you sold any of that yet?
We have not, no. We understand this is our first inspection, so until we get their certificate, we won't sell any as certified organic, but we have all the documents in place, so once that's here, we'll be good to go.
Super, all right, well that's totally correct. We don't want to see sales before you have a certificate in your hand, so thanks for being on top of that. So was hoping to see if we could basically go through your paperwork to test for traceability, to see how your paperwork links up and shows that complete paper chain. I see you described in your grain tracking system all the details that go in there, and that was disclosed in the OSP. So on your BOL, do you have an example of an outbound document that shows a load that you've shipped? Thank you. Ah, perfect, okay. So I'm just gonna make notes as we go here. So on the BOL, it shows that you're gonna use a lot number 2021 OW for organic wheat, A, C3, L1. So my understanding is that this shows the harvest year is 2021, all right, and then the OW, organic wheat, and all of this came from field A, okay? And then C3 is your bin number?
Correct.
All right, and then the L1, is that for the loads as you pull them out?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So then the bin log, how about a bin log?
It'll be right here.
All right, perfect. Yeah, sweet. So then this document is gonna show us that the entire crop, of wheat in 2021 went into C3, so that's perfect. All right, and we did see that out in the bin when we were looking at the bin, so that makes sense. All right, and then how about the bin fill log, where you would have recorded it from the field into the bin?
That would be right in here.
Awesome. Okay, so again, C3, so that tracks, and then looks like you harvested between 8/31 and 9/1, so got it done in about a day. Same lot number, 2021 OWA C3. Cool, so that's totally consistent with the bill of lading. Sweet. And then how about your harvest log?
Harvest logs are right here.
All right, love a good spreadsheet. So this doc shows that the applicant, you filled out field A. Okay, so A was harvested on 8/31 and 9/1. And do you use any custom combiners?
No.
Okay, so it's all your own combines. And are those combines dedicated to the organic side, or are they used between organic and conventional?
They're used parallel production between both.
Okay, all right. Awesome. And do you have just the clean out that you would have had for this wheat harvest showing how your combines were cleaned prior to entering the organic field?
Yep. Clean out logs would be right in there.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect, so non-contamination efforts confirmed. Awesome, so that traces the last document and it all goes via the field ID. So field ID is listed on all of your documents so far and that connects them. That's perfect. How about a planting log? Sweet, all right. So planting log, and it shows that you planted field A, 69 acres, on April 17th. Okay, and then because it's calling out field A, we have that traceability, so it's connecting there. Perfect. All right, and then lastly, for the wheat, could we review your seed records?
Yes.
Sweet. All right. Okay, so I see here you bought certified red fife wheat from Albert Lee on January 18th, 2021, and then you bought a whole 138 bushels to plant those 69 acres. So that seems reasonable, about 2 bushels an acre.
Yep.
Cool. All right. And now if we could jump back to your clean out here, just wanted to run through a few other pieces of equipment that I assume almost all of your equipment is used in parallel.
Correct.
And so nothing's dedicated to the organic side, so we'll have a clean out for everything?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you do any purging?
Yes, we do.
Okay, on what equipment do you purge versus clean?
We purge all of the equipment that runs grain through it in the field, combines and harvesters typically, and we collect the purge and we store it in these sacks here, and I will typically feed it to the wild turkeys that pass through the area.
Lucky turkeys?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So if we're looking through your forms for your shipping, it looks like when you give a hauler a load of grain in your BOL, that you sign off and have them sign off that the truck's been cleaned prior to loading your organic. And let me see, it says right here, that you typically use compressed air to clean out the trucks, just blowing them out. All right. And then for your bin records, I think those are located in here as well. Cool. So brooms, compressed air, basically, and then a shop vac to clean out the bins?
Correct.
Awesome. And we did that before our harvest date, so that looks like C3 was cleaned out, kind of in a lull in June?
I think that's right.
All right,
Yep.
Awesome. And then your augers, we have a purge here, so that's going to be the same. Everything's just going into kind of one sack for turkey feed.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, excellent. And then on your combine, it says you purged about 5 bushels through. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you'll just run that basically into a super sack or
Correct.
onto the ground? Okay.
Yep, right into a super sack.
Super. And that makes sense for how much you need to purge through a combine to get it clean. Do you, with your crops, have any concerns about contamination from your conventional to your organic side?
Well, there's always a concern, of course, but we feel that with adequate purging and cleanouts, that we can do a really good job.
Cool. Yeah. All right. And it seems like that volume would be enough. And then, do you label those super sacks with anything? Kind of calling them out as non-organic?
Yeah. So we have them labeled there. You can see that they have
Yep.
purge written right on the side of it.
Perfect. All right. So can't get more clear than that. That's excellent. And so here, or actually, let's switch back to your planting records, if we could. All right. So show that you harrowed your fields about a week after planting, and that you planted with your own grain drill. Is that correct, or was that custom done?
Nope, that's correct.
Cool. All on April 17th. And then there's also the clean out that you blew out the drill with compressed air prior to filling it with seed. Do you run treated seed through that same drill?
We do.
Okay, and compressed air seems to do the job?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And then who's in charge of cleaning when it happens?
That would be really almost any individual who's operating the equipment. But the final clean out logs typically go through me, the operations manager, and I typically will do a good quality control on every load, coming in or out of the operation.
Could you tell me a little bit more about your employee training? How you educate your employees and your other helpers on the farm about your organic procedures versus your conventional?
Yeah. So really, we just basically give them the theory that you need a good, complete audit trail from basically seed to stomach, right? And so anything that comes onto the farm, we need to document where it came from, what it came in, and then anything that input or seed goes into, we have some standard operating procedures and some tickets that allow the operators to basically fill this stuff out and once it's verified. And then the same on anything coming off of the farm is where's it going and what's it going in. So clean out logs for all of that, and really just keeping that, chain of custody kind of verified the whole step, whole way through.
Awesome. So it seems like you rely on good record keeping a lot, writing everything down. And it's from the folks that we talked to, it seems like everyone's pretty familiar with organics and has somewhat of an organic mindset for making sure that it's kept clean. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then following back on kind of the field activities, it shows that you dissed the field with a single pass and then ran a field finisher. That all looks good. And it appears that you don't do any fall tillage.
Right. Well, according to the organic standards, it's really in our best interest to try to prevent erosion as best as possible. So we are absolutely any chance we can get trying to reduce fall tillage.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I'll be sure to include that in the report because I think that's something that is under-celebrated in organics, how much focus there is on soil health. All right. So that pretty much does it. We're able to see all of your field records. We're able to track via your field ID all of your grain, field activities, harvest, all the way through to the sale. So let's jump into a mass balance now. And that would just be our opportunity to show how much did you harvest and sell versus the capacity of your farm to produce that. So when we look at the wheat again, do you have a grain cart scale?
We do.
You use? Okay, awesome.
Yep, we have a grain cart scale, and then we have tickets in the actual cart that the operator can tracks the weights going onto the trucks, and then we have tickets in the trucks that the operator and the driver communicate to one another, so there's so they reconcile.
Perfect. Do you have an example of those?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Here we go. Cool. Okay. So, all right, so if I could grab a pile of them, is that okay if we grab this fold thing?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to add these up real quick. All right, so it comes up to 4584.66 bushels. So did I get that right?
Sounds about right, yep.
All right, excellent. And then from 69 acres, we got field A, that was, again, the only wheat field. So for certification, it comes out to about 66 bushels per acre?
Yeah.
Does that seem in the ballpark?
Yep.
All right, and is that a normal yield for you guys, or is that high or low?
Well, we thought that was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, we were happy with it.
Cool, yeah, great. Awesome. So that's basically the idea, is we're looking for, on behalf of the consumer, showing that there's no evidence there was any funny business, basically, of no substitution of grain into the organic from the conventional side, especially because you're a parallel operation, wanting to check that. And then next year, for your certifier, you're gonna ultimately have some sales. If you get certified, which is not my job to decide, but after you get those sales, you'll want to make sure you keep track of all of this same paperwork, which you've done a really good job of so far. But track that, and then we're going to actually show those receipts that you've sold for your next inspector. So they're going to do the same exercise, but instead of a theoretical, what's in the bin versus what you yielded, it'll be what did you sell versus what did you harvest.
Sure.
And then we'll also look probably at your conventional crop sales as well. And basically kind of tap to make sure that we don't see any potential commingling or contamination there.
Right.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And cut. All right.